Hey guys, Flippin' Landlord Ninja here.
Kevin the Property Prince.
And we are Two Guys Take on Real Estate. So today we're here to talk about...
foreclosure properties.
Oh my God, no thank you.
Everybody wants to buy a foreclosure house except this guy. We get asked about it all the time. And you know what? We've had a lot of success doing it. I don't understand why in the world.
We've also had a lot of failures.
Oh,
come on.
That's why you're a little apprehensive about
just
talking
a little
about
bit.
this. All right. Well, you know what? We're still going to tell you a little bit of our secrets. We're going to tell you about how awesome foreclosures can be. And I think Mr. Downer over here is going to tell you some of his negative thoughts on it.
Heck yeah.
So stick with us.
Someone's got to tell the truth.
well, stick with us and we'll find out more about what the truth looks like, and you can make the decision for yourself if you want to get involved getting rich with foreclosure properties.
Make sure you subscribe and share.
And, like, push the alert notifications, do all the fun things that help our channel grow so we can continue to help you grow financially.
Two Guys Take on Real Estate. Okay, so you tell me what you think. What this has been a fantastic ride. We've always had success, right, with foreclosures?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but certainly you can get some amazing deals at auction. Do you recall the time we bought a house for only $200?
I do. I was the one at the auction, and I almost, just lost it there because no one showed up, and we just happened to luck out on that one.
You know when I tell people we bought a house for $200, that they don't believe me, they think I'm making that up just to try to get ratings and clicks and all that stuff on our channel.
We are, aren't we?
No, stop. Don't disconnect. No. Hold on, stick with us.
We actually did. The auction was fantastic. It started at $100. I honestly wanted to bid 101 because I'm that cheap. Nope, they said I had to build in $100 increments.
So we got screwed on the $99 right there.
So basically I failed those.
Well, if you want to know more about how that all went down, we've got an amazing video about it. You should totally watch it. We're going to put the square little box for you to click on.
Yep, good luck, Zach. Try to figure that out, buddy.
It's in there somewhere. And in the meantime, if you want to hear all about all the great stuff that happens at foreclosure auctions, we'll be happy to share that with you. And I guess maybe we'll tell you some of the other things you should probably know about.
Yeah, like willing.
Oh my God. All right. So how do foreclosure auctions work? I mean, you show up, you get a full tour of this vacant property. They tell you all the things that are wrong with it, right? All this stuff?
Nope, they don't tell you jack. You basically show up, so maybe 5% of the time you're lucky to get access because maybe the owner shows up and lets you have access.
Sure.
But for the most part, you're there, just like everyone else, just twiddling your thumbs, kind of looking on the outside, maybe not even allowed to step on the property because the owner's there with a shotgun.
Nobody believes me when I tell people this stuff. I swear to God, nobody ever. We do lives, we talk about this all the time. Nobody believes that you are literally buying a house sight unseen, sometimes with people camping out in there. Yep. And you're actually it's like a big mystery box that you're bidding on.
Exactly.
Who does that?
Crazy people like us.
We do that.
Yes.
And you might be doing that. So stick around. We're going to continue to talk about some of the things that could go wrong, some red flags you should be noticing as you're at a foreclosure auction.
Well, exactly. So, for instance, one of the big things, underground oil tanks. If you're not getting inside, how do you know that there's not an underground oil tank? And especially if you're dealing with houses that are older, like in New England.
Oh, sure.
That's a huge red flag, dude.
I guarantee you somebody watching this right now doesn't even know what an underground oil tank is, and they won't know until they bought a house at foreclosure auction and they get stuck with it.
Yeah. Underground oil tank, essentially, that's what they had. Someone a long time ago had the bright idea to basically bury large tanks filled with oil that were metal. Yeah. They're not going to rot. They're not going to have any problems.
No, the EPA won't ever have an issue with you owning that property. So basically, if you were to take over a house with an underground oil tank, even if you didn't know about it, it's basically a game over scenario for you in your endeavor. So that could wipe out a new investor.
Exactly. If it's leaking and leaching into the groundwater, you're in big trouble.
All right. It's not all doom and gloom, but there are definitely a few other red flags you should be really concerned about. Lead paint, for instance.
Oh, yep. Lead paint.
Asbestos.
Asbestos could be a big problem if there's pipes covered with asbestos. That could be a large rehab right there that you got to actually account for.
Yeah, I learned a term. Nobody seems to know this term either. Snowmen.
Oh my God. Yes.
They're just not the nice thing you build on the front lawn in the middle of winter.
Yep, so in New England, especially in these older homes, you're gonna have these boilers, these old boilers that are maybe 80, 100 years old, that were just basically, they just slathered on asbestos all over them, and they're all white. hence why we call them the snowman. They almost kind of look like a little snowman.
Yeah, not little. Those things are huge.
Well, they are pretty big.
The less efficient a heating system is, the bigger it was, like the old school.
Well, and they tried to make it more efficient by encapsulating it with insulation, with the asbestos insulation, but still.
So yeah, a lot of red flags, a lot of things that could really, really turn your world upside down if you ended up buying a house that had some of these things and you weren't expecting it. Knob and tube wiring.
Knob and tube wiring, that's another big thing. I mean, you're not, once again, getting it in access. Often people will hide the knob and tube wiring as well. Maybe, you can see, all right, there's a new meter on the outside, but guess what? They just junction box everything else, and everything else is knob and tube. And that could be a red flag for your insurance company or your tenant as well, or as you get kind of going through that whole process.
So, these are all reasons why you want to stay away from maybe some of those properties that have those things, if you can tell that they have those things. So, okay, well, all right, so you're avoiding some of the landmines, right? So this can still work out great for these folks.
You're avoiding them? How are you avoiding these things?
You're going to run the other way. You see an underground oil tank,
there you go.
You know to look for it now. If the house has, really outdated
But
asbestos,
you can't get inside. How do you know this stuff?
Well, you don't always know it. You have to make some kind of judgment calls based on what you can observe with the house.
Right.
From the exterior, you're going to know if the house maybe has ever been de-leaded or made lead safe for kids because the windows haven't been updated or they have been.
Okay.
You can see some lead paint. You can see the kind of siding. If it's never been updated, chances are if the siding's about 70 years old, probably the heating system is right around the same time too.
What about if it's occupied? Isn't that a little bit problem, especially right now?
I did mention that. Do we want to talk about it? I did mention, what if there's people camping out inside the house?
Oh my God, it's a nightmare.
It can be a nightmare, or it can be an amazing opportunity.
Opportunity, dude.
Opportunity for a guy.
You gotta lie to these guys.
I love, that's my niche right there. I love it when we take over an occupied foreclosure property. Why? Why do I love it? Because I know we scored that property way less than anybody else will. Because just like an underground oil tank, people are going to run the other way if there's an occupant in the property.
That's a good point.
And they should.
This is true. And so once again, I know we're talking about a lot of negatives here, and Kevin's right though. Basically, if there's a negative,
Kevin's right. Oh, like
I know. It's recorded.
All
Relax.
right. Replay that part, guys. Replay that part for me.
Kevin's right though.
Yes, with all these problems, underground oil tanks, occupants, lead paint, asbestos, all that kind of stuff, if you have a good process and procedure to actually handle these situations, that's where, like you said, this could be a gold mine.
Absolutely. If you have a good process where you're going to be able to deal with occupants, whether they're the former owners, actual regular bona fide tenants, or just some crackhead squatters that are in there stealing the copper pipes, if you have a good process that can handle these problems or any of the other red flag type concerns, you have the ability to really score yourself a deal.
But you need to make sure you put a process in place. Especially when you're new to this, if you don't have that process and you're just buying it because you're excited about possibly getting a $200 house like these bozos did, I mean, you're having a recipe for disaster.
Right.
And I've seen it time and time again.
Oh, yeah.
So many noobs, basically getting crushed.
Yeah.
And then bidding it up. All right, I was at an auction just the other day. This guy's new. He all excited about this 2-family house, didn't get inside, and bid it up. We got in after the fact. We were able to get access. No kitchens, no plumbing, no asbestos in the basement. He pretty much had to walk away from his $5,000 deposit.
Right, and that was a smart thing to do because he knew if he didn't walk away from his deposit that he had to pay basically in cash, he knew he would probably be in for a loss many, many times that. So you got to be smart and businesslike, not emotional is definitely a huge takeaway here. Factor the concerns in. If you have occupants in a property, factor in that it's going to cost you money or time. Time is money to get that problem solved. That is definitely going to be your problem to solve. If you have an asbestos heating system, covered heating system in there, it's going to cost you money and time to solve that. Factor in and budget your bid accordingly so you can make sure these things are still a great deal.
I agree. I mean, I think this, once again, this can be a great way that can be a part of the buy for the BRRRR strategy.
Well, this is going to be a huge way to kick off a jumpstart of your strategy because you could walk away with a great buy, underpriced property, and then move to the next step. But you know what? I found that so many people don't know fully what the burr strategy is.
Really?
Yeah,
They're on our channel, they don't know?
I teach them all the time, but some people out there are still new and they haven't learned this stuff.
So you're telling me they need to watch this video right here?
Well, that one right there would be probably the best way to get started.
Oh, okay.
If you don't know the burr method, if you just think burr applies to like a temperature and you live somewhere warm and it's not a concern for you, you're missing out. Just take a second.
People in Hawaii should actually listen to this?
Everybody should listen to this and click this video. Learn it for free with us as we continue to teach you new steps about how you can find ways to have financial freedom.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Good luck.